6 years after breaking up with my ex-girlfriend, I saw her again at a class reunion. Arm in arm with her younger boyfriend, she publicly announced their engagement to everyone. Instantly, the private room erupted with cheers and jeers. Everyone was waiting to see how I, the ex-boyfriend, would react to this embarrassing situation. But I didn't make a scene. Instead, I calmly transferred $1,000 as an engagement gift. My ex-girlfriend suddenly lost her composure. She pulled me aside and whispered urgently, "It's been 6 years. Isn't that long enough for you to get over it? I'm just putting on a show with him to appease his family back home. After this, I'll marry you." But later, when she discovered I was already married with a child, she broke down in tears, desperately begging me to come back to her. In the private room, everyone was stunned when they saw me give the engagement gift. They hadn't expected this reaction from me. After all, they all knew how much I had loved Olivia. I couldn't stand seeing her being intimate with Ethan. In the past, I would get insanely jealous, even if they just had a meal together. But soon, the classmates, always eager for drama, started teasing and cheering again. Some praised me for being generous, others for being devoted. An ex-boyfriend giving $1,000 for his ex's engagement was quite a gesture. Amid the commotion, Ethan's lips curled into a smug smile, his eyes flashing with triumph. Olivia, however, furrowed her brow. Her eyes clouded with an unreadable expression. After a moment of silence, she pulled me aside and whispered, "Jack, it's been 6 years. Isn't that long enough for you to get over it? Ethan and I are just going through the motions. You know his family back home has been pressuring him to get married. This is the last time I'm helping him. After this is over, I'll marry you." Hearing Olivia say this, I couldn't help but laugh bitterly to myself. I had lost count of how many times I had heard her say these words. In the past, every time Olivia got close to Ethan, she would habitually make empty promises to me, either promising to cook for me or to marry me. And every time, I would eagerly swallow her promises, taking the way out she offered. But now I no longer wanted to eat the cake she was offering. I didn't want to take the easy way out anymore. Besides, we had broken up. Whether her relationship with Ethan was real or fake, what did it have to do with me? Thinking of this, I discreetly pulled my hand away and said coolly, "Olivia, we've broken up. You don't need to explain anything to me." Olivia was taken aback for a moment. Then her eyes immediately turned cold. "What do you mean broken up? We've just been having a Cold War these past few years, haven't we?" But I found it laughable. Who has a Cold War that lasts 6 years? The truth was I had blocked and deleted her 6 years ago. I had even sent her a breakup email and moved all my belongings out of our shared apartment. If she had cared about me even a little, she would have noticed something was wrong. Moreover, for the past 6 years, our mutual friends had all accepted the fact that we had broken up. It was only Olivia who was living in denial. Thinking of this, I didn't bother to argue further. I just gave a cold laugh and turned to leave. If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have come to this class reunion at all. As soon as I left the private room, Olivia and Ethan immediately chased after me. Ethan ran ahead to block my way, putting on a fake concerned expression. "Brother Jack, why are you leaving so suddenly? It's a good class reunion. Are you still upset about what happened 6 years ago? If you're feeling guilty, I can apologize to you." He deliberately emphasized the words 6 years ago. Hearing this, Olivia's face immediately darkened. She instinctively shielded Ethan behind her, glaring at me coldly. "Jack, why are you so petty? How can you still be holding a grudge over such a small matter?" But I found it laughable, so my life was just a trivial matter in Olivia's eyes. 6 years ago, just because Ethan said he was afraid of the dark and didn't dare to go downstairs to buy medicine, Olivia abandoned me on the highway on our wedding day, nearly getting me killed by oncoming traffic. I trudged through a heavy snowstorm for 3 hours to reach the wedding venue. By the time I arrived at the wedding venue, I was a complete mess. I had to cancel the wedding in front of everyone, utterly humiliated. Afterward, I caught a severe fever from exposure to the cold. During that time, Olivia never once came to see me. Her heart and eyes were full of Ethan. She even stayed overnight at Ethan's place, taking care of him, who was traumatized. Ethan even posted about it on social media to show off, making me the laughingstock of everyone. That was the 99th time Olivia had abandoned me for Ethan. Because of that, my heart completely died. I accepted a job transfer and left for the States, staying away for 6 years. I knew Ethan was deliberately trying to provoke me by bringing up old wounds. In the past, I would have definitely blown up in anger. Unfortunately for him, this time, he was going to be disappointed. Thinking of this, I calmly replied, there's nothing to be angry about. After all, Olivia and I ended things 6 years ago. Besides, I'm doing very well now. But Ethan was convinced I was angry. He continued his act, explaining in a pretentious manner, "Brother Jack, don't misunderstand. My engagement to Olivia is just for show, just to appease my relatives back home. If you're really bothered by it, I can cancel the engagement party." Before he could finish, Olivia had already interrupted him. "No way, Ethan. I found it amusing." So Olivia did know that canceling a wedding at the last minute was embarrassing. Then why didn't she think about how embarrassing it would be for me back then? She knew that a runaway bride would make me lose face and feel awkward. Yet she still chose to abandon me for Ethan, leaving me to face a room full of guests alone, humiliating me here. Sensing my disgusted gaze, Olivia faltered for a moment, unconsciously biting her lip before quickly softening her tone to explain to me, "Jack, Ethan needs me. I can't just ignore him." Ethan also played the good guy, taking off his engagement ring and handing it to me with fake sincerity. "Brother Jack, this ring originally belonged to you. Now that you're back, I should naturally return it to its rightful owner." He was pretending to be noble on the surface, but in reality, he was just taking the opportunity to show off. Olivia, looking at the familiar ring, couldn't help but curl her lips into a smug smile. "Jack, remember I had this ring specially designed for you back." It was true that Olivia had the ring designed for me, but I had never worn it. Just because Ethan said he liked it, she unhesitatingly gave him the ring that was specially customized for me. He had been wearing it ever since. I let out a cold sneer and threw the diamond ring into a nearby trash can. I don't want something that someone else has worn. With that, I turned to leave, not bothering to waste any more words. Seeing that I was about to leave, Olivia's eyes flickered. She quickly ran up and grabbed my hand. "Jack, stop right there." As she grabbed me, she was unexpectedly pricked by something. When she let go and looked, she was surprised to find a wedding ring glittering on my ring finger. "Jack, what do you mean by ignoring me? I've already agreed to marry you. What more do you want?" But I remained cold. "Do whatever you want, but don't stop me from going back to my wife and child. Move aside." With that, I shook off Olivia's hand and turned to leave. But Olivia became anxious. "Jack, what do you mean? Explain yourself clearly." She was about to chase after me when Ethan suddenly crouched down. Clutching his head and pretending to be in pain, he tightly gripped Olivia's clothes. "Olivia, my head hurts so much." Olivia immediately stopped chasing me and rushed to Ethan's side hurriedly, her face full of concern. "Ethan, what's wrong? Did you drink too much earlier?" "Jack, Ethan is feeling sick from the alcohol. I'm going to take him to a nearby hotel to rest." As she said this, Olivia glanced at me guiltily, as if seeking my approval. But I found it laughable. Was she trying to explain herself to me? Before she could finish, I had already coldly interrupted. "Go if you want to. You don't need to ask me. Don't forget, we broke up long ago." Olivia was stunned, not expecting this reaction from me at all. In the past, whenever I knew she was going to be alone with Ethan, would always try to stop her, frantically going crazy with jealousy. But the reason I acted that way was because I loved her and cared about her. Now that I no longer loved Olivia, what did it matter to me who she was with? Hearing me say this, Olivia's voice quickened, her breathing becoming more rapid. "Jack, aren't you worried at all about me going to a hotel alone with Ethan?" I knew she wanted me to stop her like I used to, even to beg her shamelessly not to go. In the past, when I tried to stop her, she would accuse me of being controlling, call me narrow-minded, saying that people with dirty minds see everything as dirty. Now that I was letting her be free, why was she suddenly unhappy about it? Thinking of this, I looked at Olivia and said with a cold smile, "You're just my ex. Why? Why should I worry about you?" Olivia's face turned ashen. She opened her mouth to say something. Before she could speak, Ethan had already interrupted, frantically complaining about his headache. Olivia finally turned her attention back to Ethan. She supported him and gave me a cold look. "Jack, you said it yourself. Don't regret it later. Let's go, Ethan. I'll take you to the hotel." With that, Olivia supported Ethan and left in a huff. I knew she was trying to do the same thing as before, deliberately being intimate with Ethan to make me jealous and coax her, but this time I turned and left without looking back, preparing to return to the hotel to see my wife and daughter. This trip back home, attending the class reunion, was just a side event. The main purpose was to bring my wife and daughter here for a vacation. Come to think of it, I should thank Olivia. If she hadn't driven me away 6 years ago, I wouldn't have met my wife, Emma, and we wouldn't have had our lovely daughter, Lily. Emma and I met on the streets of Paris. At that time, I was slightly injured and wandering the streets in a daze when I accidentally bumped into her. I quickly apologized to her after learning what had happened. Not only did she not mind, but she also bought me a cup of hot milk tea, comforting me that life was beautiful and encouraging me to look forward. After that, we exchanged contact information. She listened to my grievances, and I shared my life with her. Unlike Olivia, Emma always greeted me with a smile, always gentle and kind. With her encouragement and companionship, I gradually moved past the shadow of my failed relationship. Soon we got together, and we even had our adorable Lily. Over the years, my wife and daughter have been my motivation to work hard and move forward. Just thinking about seeing them soon put me in a great mood, and my steps unconsciously quickened. But as luck would have it, as soon as I arrived at the hotel, I ran into Olivia and Ethan. They were staying at the same hotel. Seeing me, Olivia was stunned. "Why are you here?" Ethan immediately stirred up trouble. "Olivia, Brother Jack must have realized his mistake and followed us here to apologize." Hearing this, Olivia's eyes flashed with joy, the corners of her mouth turning up slightly. But her tone remained as arrogant as ever. "Jack, weren't you acting all tough earlier? What? You regret it so soon? You even followed us here? Well, considering your good attitude and admitting your mistake, if you just apologize to me, I might forgive you." Looking at Olivia's self-absorbed expression, I only felt disgusted. I laughed coldly. "Don't flatter yourself. I just happen to be staying here." But Olivia didn't believe me. She snorted coldly. "This is a couple's hotel. You're staying here. Who are you trying to fool?" I was about to speak when the door behind me opened. Emma walked out from inside, giving me a gentle smile. "Honey, you're back." "What? Honey?" "She called you honey." Olivia stood frozen, her voice trembling slightly. When she saw the matching wedding ring on Emma's finger, her face turned even paler, looking extremely ugly. "A wedding ring? Jack, you really did get married." But soon, Olivia regained her previous cold. She looked down at Emma, standing next to me, sneering with disdain. "So you're Jack's wife. You don't look like much. So what if you're married? How long have you been together?" "Jack and I have 18 years of history. How could you possibly compare? Jack loves me the most, and only me. He's just playing around with you. He left the country back then because we had a fight. He found you out of spite. You're just a rebound. Otherwise, why would he come back home for no reason? It's obviously for me. Let me tell you, Jack, coming back to me is just a matter of time. If you're smart, you should leave now. Save yourself the embarrassment of being dumped later." I was speechless, finding Olivia utterly ridiculous. Emma also looked at Olivia as if she were looking at an idiot. Even though she was very angry, she still maintained her inherent gentleness and good manners. She walked to my side, linking her arm with mine in a gesture of claiming ownership, and smiled graciously at Olivia. "Jack and you are in the past. Now I am his wife, and you are just an ex. Not worth mentioning at all." Emma used the gentlest tone to say the most cutting words. Olivia's face turned red with anger. She raised her hand, about to slap Emma. "You bitch. You're just my replacement. Jack loves me the most. Will you talk back to me?" As Olivia's hand was about to land on Emma's face, I reached out to block it, coldly slapping Olivia instead. "Olivia, that's enough." After slapping Olivia, I immediately turned to comfort Emma. "Honey, are you okay? Are you hurt?" Olivia, holding her reddened cheek, looked at me in disbelief, seeing that I didn't care about her at all and was only concerned about Emma. Her eyes welled up with tears, full of grievance. "Jack, you hit me. You actually hit me for another woman. Is this how you repay me after I waited for you for so long? Do you know how I've spent these years?" I watched Olivia storm off, dragging Ethan behind her like a broken trophy. I couldn't help but smirk. It was incredible how she still believed the world revolved around her, even after everything that had happened. I held Emma's hand, and we walked away, returning to our room at the hotel. Emma, as always, remained calm, even after the confrontation with Olivia. She looked at me with that gentle smile that always melted my heart and whispered, "You handled that well, honey. Some people just don't know how to let go of the past." I kissed her forehead, reassuring her that she was my only concern now. Deep down, though, I knew Olivia wouldn't give up so easily. The next morning, while we were having breakfast at the hotel restaurant, Olivia appeared again, this time alone. She looked worn out, but still carried that arrogant demeanor. Without any hesitation, she sat at the table next to ours and started talking as if Emma wasn't even there. "Jack, we need to talk. We can't just leave things like this." Emma held my hand, encouraging me to ignore her, but Olivia persisted. "Do you think you can just erase me from your life so easily? Jack, we have a history. You owe me so much. If it weren't for me, You wouldn't even be the man you are today. Emma, ever composed, finally spoke up. Olivia, I think it's clear that Jack has moved on. I don't see any reason for these constant interruptions. Olivia laughed mockingly, pointing at Emma as if she were analyzing a cheap imitation. Moved on? With you? Don't make me laugh. Jack will never forget what we had. No matter what he says, I'm the woman he'll always love. My patience, already thin, snapped. I looked directly into her eyes and said firmly, Olivia, enough. I don't owe you anything. You had your chance, and you threw it all away. I'm happy with my family, something you'll never understand. So, please leave us alone. But she didn't stop. Olivia abruptly stood up, slamming her hands on the table. You think you can just discard me? After everything I did for you? I sacrificed so much. And now you're here, playing the perfect husband and father with her? Emma, though offended, kept her composure, but I didn't. Sacrificed what, Olivia? Sacrificed our relationship for Ethan? Sacrificed my dignity on our wedding day? You didn't sacrifice anything but my patience. And now, what do you want? More attention? An apology? You're not getting any of that. Before she could respond, Ethan appeared in the restaurant, visibly uncomfortable. He grabbed her arm, trying to pull her away. Olivia, what are you doing? Why are you humiliating yourself like this? He's made it clear he wants nothing to do with you. Let's go. But Olivia yanked her arm away, pointing at Ethan with disdain. You're the reason for all of this. If it weren't for you, I never would have lost Jack. You promised me the world, but all you gave me was shame. Ethan, clearly embarrassed, tried to defend himself, but it was obvious even he was tired of the situation. He left, abandoning Olivia there. Now alone, Olivia looked at me, her eyes filled with tears but still carrying that manipulative glint. Jack, I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, but I was confused. I was young and immature. Please, give me another chance. I can be the woman you deserve. Emma, who had remained silent until now, finally spoke, not with anger, but with a calmness that made her words even more cutting. Olivia, I think what you need to understand is that the world doesn't revolve around you. You had Jack, but you chose something else. Now he's my husband, and nothing you do or say will change that. Olivia burst into tears, but I felt no pity. I knew it wasn't real regret, just frustration at not getting her way. I decided to put an end to this once and for all. Olivia, this ends here. Don't contact me again. Don't speak to me. I have a life and a family. I hope you find peace someday, but it won't be with me. I held Emma's hand, and we left, leaving Olivia behind, defeated. But as we walked through the hotel, I couldn't help but reflect on how much my life had changed for the better. Emma was everything Olivia never could be. Kind, loving, and dependable. For the first time in years, I felt like I had finally closed that chapter of my life. When we returned to our room, Lily ran up to me with her innocent smile, and I realized I didn't need anything else in the world. I already had everything I could ever want. The following weeks passed peacefully after the incident with Olivia. Emma and I enjoyed the rest of our trip with Lily, visiting beautiful places and creating memories that would last a lifetime. Olivia and Ethan didn't reappear, and I could finally breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that the weight of my past had been firmly left behind. Back home, I returned to my routine with my family. Emma continued to be my partner in life, always kind and supportive. Lily, with her innocent laughter, filled our days with joy. Every time I looked at them, I felt more grateful for the direction my life had taken. The past, with all its pain, no longer had any hold over me. One afternoon, while working in my office, I received an email from a familiar address. It was Olivia. At first, I hesitated to open it, but I decided I needed to face it with maturity. The email was long, filled with apologies and regret. She wrote that she had reflected on everything and finally understood how much she had hurt me. She said she was trying to move on, but was still consumed by the pain of losing me. I read it all calmly, but instead of anger or resentment, I felt only emptiness. It was strange how someone who once meant so much could now feel so distant, so irrelevant. I closed the email without replying, knowing that giving her any response would only prolong something that needed to stay in the past. Months later, I heard rumors that Olivia and Ethan had broken up. It didn't surprise me. Their relationship had always been built on superficialities and manipulations. I also heard she was facing some difficulties, but I decided not to seek out any more details. What happened in her life no longer concerned me. I had my own family to care for and my own future to build. Over time, I realized it wasn't Olivia who needed forgiveness. It was me. I needed to forgive myself for allowing that toxic relationship to consume so much of my life and energy. When I finally did, I felt a lightness I had never experienced before. Today, when I look back, I see that everything I went through was necessary to bring me to where I am now. Emma and Lily are my world, my reason to keep growing and striving. The love we share as a family is unlike anything I've ever experienced before. It's genuine, honest, and built on mutual respect and trust. I don't know where Olivia is now or how her life turned out, but I hope, in some way, she finds her own peace. As for me, I have everything I've ever wanted: a loving family, a warm home, and the certainty that my past does not define who I am today. Sometimes, life takes us down painful and winding roads, but I believe that in the end, everything falls into place as it should. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that true love doesn't bind, suffocate, or hurt. It sets you free, and it's that freedom I've finally found.